All right, so here we have properties of numbers. So you have a lot of properties: additive identity, additive inverse, multiplicative identity, multiplicative property of zero, substitution property, equivalent expressions, commutative property. All these are important, but this is where you really got to get to the commutative property. The order in which you add or multiply numbers does not change their sum or product. So a plus b is equal to b plus a times b is equal to b times a, 3 plus 4 is the same as 4 plus 3, 3 times 4 is the same as 4 times 3. Notice there's no subtraction in here, and there's no division in here. So commutative property can only be with the two numbers that you are switching. Actually, you can have 3, 4, 5 numbers, but they all have to be adding or all being multiplied. So it's the commutative property of addition, or you have the commutative property of multiplication. Associative property. The way you group three or more numbers when adding or multiplying does not change their sum or product. So if we have these three letters being added with A and B being grouped, you can rewrite it so that still the same three letters, the order of the three letters is the same, but we changed the grouping. Associative is like who you associate with, who you group with. Okay? So that can change from football season to basketball season to baseball season to summer. Girls, I won't leave you out. Volleyball season, basketball season, softball season, summer. It's your grouping, it's associate with, it's the associative property and it's grouping. Orders do not change. The order does not change, just the grouping changes. That is the associative property. Multiplicative inverse, you already know that one. Well, you know the other ones too, but multiplicative inverse, you know that is the reciprocal. Okay, the reciprocal. For any number a over b, where a and b are not equal to 0, there's exactly one number, b over a. Notice they flipped, such that the product will equal 1. So a over b times b over a is 1. 2/3 times 3 halves, 6 over 6, 1. So we're going to evaluate this and try using the properties, meaning we're going to explain the properties as we evaluate. So order of operations still says we're going to do what's in the parentheses first. Okay, here we just get 1, not a big deal. Here, when we multiply, we also get 1, but here we're doing the multiplicative inverse right here. 5 times a fifth. That's the multiplicative inverse, and we get 1. 7 times 1 is 7. That is the multiplicative identity. And then continue, multiply first before you add and subtract, and continue working left to right when you have adding and subtracting. So you're still working through your order of operations. It's just when you have one of these properties, you can list it so that we know you know the properties. And eventually we get 7. Let's take a look at 2. First, I do what's in the parentheses. Inside of the parentheses, I multiply before I subtract. I get 8. 8 minus 8, that is the additive inverse. So 8 minus 8 is 0. 2 times 3 is 6. And then 6 plus 0 is, I didn't have the answer there, 6. And that is the additive identity. Okay, so yeah, we're doing multiple operations, but we did the additive inverse here, and we did the additive identity here to get 6. All right, next page. So here, 7 times 1/7, that's multiplicative inverse. The 15 divided by 3 is 5. And then my 5 minus 5 is 0. That is your additive inverse right here. I forgot to write multiplicative inverse. I guess I didn't do it till down here. Never mind. Inside the parentheses, all I did was the dividing. Got 5. Then 5 minus 5 is the additive inverse. Now when I multiply, because I didn't multiply it up here, when I multiply it here, I get the multiplicative inverse plus, and then 6 times 0, and that's the multiplicative property of 0. 7 times the 7th is 1, 6 times 0 is 0, 1 plus 0 is 1. So again, over here, it's just listing out the properties. This is for number 4. So these 3 steps were shown over here. Number 4, we have all multiplying. I can rearrange it any way I want. So I'm going to put the 2 with the 5. So I multiply those to get 10. And that is my commutative property of multiplication. All you have to know is commutative. Okay? And then continue working left to right. 280. Number 5. I chose to multiply the 2.9 and 10. So I did reordering it. And when I reorder, that is the commutative property. So I reordered it. So 2.9 times 10 is 29, and 29 times 4. Here's a little secret. So when I'm doing this, yeah, you can go 4 times 9 in your head, have the 6, carry the 3, 8 plus the 3 is 11, and get 116. Or you could think of this as 30. So 4 times 30 is 120. Why the minus 4? Because I have to take one of my groups of 4 away from the 30 to get 29. So I get 116. We're going to show that in more detail in the next lesson. Key here is, can you multiply those to get 116? Do you understand the commutative properties when you're doing it? Number 6, you can choose just to go left to right and not do the commutative property. That's fine. You can just work left to right. But as you can see, I reordered it. And when I reordered it, that is the commutative property. Okay? So then I'm going 5/3 times 3. So the 3's canceled to get 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 times 25 is 250. All right. Those are your notes. And then you will do the assignment, which is 1.3, page 21. All right. And good luck.